Boy, am I a glutton for punishment or what? That's right. Time to give Raphael his due in today's single figure review. So this is the third figure in my single figure TMNT set review. So Raphael, oh man, obviously one of my favorites. Leo is my top, but there have been many times in my life where I've absolutely connected and resonated with Raphael more than some of the other brothers. But that's what's so special about the boys, right? The fact that we can all find different ways to connect each of their personalities to aspects of ourselves. And Raphael is spectacular. So the main difference that I'm noticing is in the neck. He definitely has a thicker, beefier neck, which is awesome. So a little less articulation, but it's going to bring that down slightly. Actually, it's really not hindering much of anything. It's just that it's just a beefier, strong boy, which I love. As I have been doing with the first two of Leo and Mikey, I'm not going to cover any of the main stuff that I've hit on. This is just going to be now focusing on his looks, accessories, and then I have 7 other Raphael figures to compare him to. So let's get into it. The first thing I notice is that the belt, maybe it's because he is beefier than Michelangelo, but it's not having that same fall down in the back. Now in my Michelangelo review, I did show you how you have to kind of pay attention to the elastic. See, this is how it was out of the box. You could see that elastic peeking out because the leather was brought up and it did get stuck on one of those little notches there. So while it will still fall down if I want to wiggle this out, I think he is slightly thicker. So yeah, there's just no movement as I've gone to pose him. Whereas Mikey, it would slip a little bit until I figured out the best way to get that elastic over and higher up onto the shell. The look of this figure, the color of each turtle is slightly different. I love his green, more muted. I wish the red was brighter. I will say that. I know this is a grimier, grittier version of the turtles, but still I would have liked to see that red pop a little bit more. And that's something I noticed on the purple with Donnie, but we'll have to save that for that next video. I know these are working pouches. We're gonna have to figure out what will slide into these things over here. And I have one side placed so far. So this sounds like a perfect time to get into his accessories. Quick little side note is at Walmart, I bought one of these Sterilite cases, not very large as you can see here. But what I ended up doing to save space was I did take out, and this is one of the few times I'm actually using the included Mezco bags, but I put all the turtle stuff individually into their own bags, and now I keep this set here. But this way, I want my boys displayed on the shelf with the rest of their brothers. So just an option for you if you were looking for something to store them with ease. But once again, this set is fantastic in every single way. So something that I'll get into with Donnie is that he actually has less hands than Raph, but Raph has a couple of extra hands that the rest of the boys don't. So there was that little bit of give and take with Mezco. But let's go check out these effects. There's the throwing ninja stars. This is great. I'll show you the directions too of how to plug those in. I am in love with all of these various weapon effects. I actually took a photo for a collab with my fellow toy daddies and the Between Two Sentinels boys of Machu Toy and J-Shot. So you can see that picture now. And I wanted to use that because one of the coolest things about this particular one is that it is for throwing the Sai. So that ports right in there, and yeah, that is so cool. And look at the side details too. It is just something else. Battle-torn, battle-worn for sure. But yes, he has 2 of these different hit effects. And also comes with, or Donnie, depending on, but there's now a second one of these. So I threw one into Leo's bag, and Raph is going to have the other throwing dagger as well. He does come with 3 of these little ninja stars. Here's the other 2 that I have down there. That's where this comes from. Super awesome. We already know that this is Mezco's own interpretation of the Ninja Turtles, and they pulled from so many different places, so many different versions of them to create their own. These staff sticks remind me of the Rise of the Ninja Turtle Raphael. I'm not sure if that was an intentional inclusion, but the fact that this is what he did use in that show, and I love that he has his own set now here too. And the classic pizza dagger. Is that what we used to call it as kids? The pizza cutter, pizza dagger. But yeah, so that is clearly going to slide into here, question mark? Maybe? Maybe not. No, I'm gonna have to figure that one out. So upon closer inspection, that is just a pouch. That's not a holder, but what is cool is that there is that one spot, so I can include one of those sticks there. If I had to guess, this would be for the Ninja Stars, but I know for my photography and the fact that these are just so tiny and could possibly drop into the carpet and lost, I'll probably just keep those in the bag. I probably will not have a use for that pouch. I do know that this pouch will open, you know, if you want to spend the time with tweezers getting that going. But again, for me, it's just the gorgeous look, the sewn nature of it, the texture, and I'm just going to leave that as such. I won't actually use it as a working pocket, but it's nice to know that it could be. But yeah, I believe this is for the Ninja Stars, but I won't be keeping them in there. But yes, the inclusion of one of the sticks here is really nice, and that slid right in as opposed to some of the difficulties I've had with either Leo's sheath and in the next review, Donnie's bow staff. And to not go over in detail things that I've covered in my previous 2 reviews, we do have this amazing grappling hook and turtle comm, which are so cool. With that little extra click, you'll actually be able to see the screen better, and even a little paint job on the button in there. Of course, the delicious looking Mezco pizza. This is the best pizza that they've ever made. It definitely might be my favorite looking pizza, as I've mentioned before. And then, of course, the incredible head sculpts. So we have this one sort of based off of the original. And then I love this angry yelling. This is the cool dude with a really bad attitude right here. Fantastic. Shout out to my boy Cody, Too Much New Toys, and his Mezco review, where he discovered the beautiful nature of the Mezco pop and swap on their head sculpts. That delicious sounding pop. It's so good. Yeah. So I thought it'd be kind of neat to walk you through how I would pose this particular accessory up. The funny thing is, based on the directions, I definitely thought he was a lefty based on some of these different hands and the directions showing you how to throw it, but he does have one hand that will fit that on the right as well. So I'm gonna try to pose him up for you, but I'm just noticing, I don't know if this accessory is in my set. And it's not like it was missing. I unboxed that and literally took everything right from the tray and put it in there, but I don't have that one. This is something I'm gonna have to look into, so I'm keeping it in the review for now because I've noticed that occasionally where Mezco will either have something in the product shots. It's not all the time, but something will be in the product shots that then don't make it into the set itself. And I feel like maybe that's the case. I feel like I haven't seen anybody else show that off yet. But that's interesting that it was printed on there. But let's get this particular accessory posed up. Now, I played baseball for the majority of my life, so I like to think that I have a pretty good sense of body movement and control when it comes to throwing, especially as a righty. So as a pitcher, you're going to be leading with the opposite foot and have that arm come across. Kick the back leg up. Get that arm back there just like you would throwing or running. But there you go. So yeah, as a pitcher, I feel like that would be it. And the nice thing is, look at that. It will really stay in there. But yeah, you want him looking ahead for the follow through. Seeing the ball enter the catcher's mitt. But yeah, and that's what's really nice about that, is that it hooks on it all just from tension. But there, boom. I think that looks pretty awesome. Now for this side throwing hand, that's the way you want it, where this piece will go up, and it's this particular hand. And that once again will slide in and grip pretty well. Ooh. There we go. And for something like this, I would want to turn it where he's throwing to the side. You know, again, in baseball terms, like turning a double play type situation. Although I guess he would be a lefty in this case. Or maybe a pitcher trying to flip the ball over to first base. But yeah, it would be thrown out that way, obviously. So yeah, with the little turn and the follow through. That looks so rad. That's such a cool accessory for pictures. And again, having some perspective with it thrown towards the camera like so. And based on the directions, the same would be for the throwing daggers. But I am still confuzzled about this set of, because the Sais and the throwing dagger would have been swappable from the looks of it. But yeah, that looks pretty cool. Even if that thing isn't in there, obviously there's so much for us to mess with and play with. Again, for shelf display and toy photography, that I'm not going to complain if that was just a printing error or just something that they had anticipated it including, and for whatever reason, they couldn't. Time for the soft goods. I figured it'll be fun to show you the struggle of trying to apply this, so you don't think that these just go on super easy. I am very careful. While I do feel that these are incredibly durable figures from the feel of it, I did see at least one instance of some issues from pegs, so just again, be careful. These are Mezco, so these are not pocket figures, and they hold up well, but still, you just want to be careful. And let's get this head back on here. Oh, actually, we're gonna make them really just mad looking in the trench coat, because the hat comes with a peg in here, which was an awesome choice. The NECA one, which we'll see in a second, has the loopholes, which I'll show you, but I really like that you just take the bandana out there and that just ports in. So I'm very happy that one of these turtles has the classic Turtles in Disguise look, and again, it's perfect for Raph, considering how iconic that look is from the first movie for him. So there we go. Just spectacular. And it's a wired coat and belt over here, which is a nice touch, so you can always tie that down and make that look really rad. But that's the soft goods for Raphael. So amazing. And you know what? That's going to lead right in perfectly to the very first comparison. So let's get to that. So as I said, I have 7 other Raphaels to show you. Here first, I actually just watched this movie last night, but Secret of the Ooze. You can really see the height differential between the NECA and TMNT Mezco set here, but not in a bad way. Again, the NECA figures are just massive, and they were real people in there. So of course, they would be taller, and with NECA in their scale. But yeah, this is the hat that I was referring to. As you can see on that one, there's the notch out, so it would sit over the bandana and fit in there nicely. Next up, here he is with the Mirage set. Really, you can consider that Mirage set to be just a Raphael 4-pack if you really wanted to. This is how I like to display this Raph and shoot him with this arm with the extra wrapping over here, and then I love that shawl. I also finally just recently finished Mutant Mayhem. So here's how he looks with the Playmates version. Now, if you're curious about the lines in there, that was my own cel shading that I did. I applied that with a Gundam marker. So it was a fun little experience, just as a little FYI, very relaxing and very easy to do because I'm not exactly artistically inclined when it comes to drawing and markers and pen and all that, but I think it really enhanced the look. But there he goes. So he's on the smaller end with the same scowling, angry expression. Here's the Super7 version with, again, their own original interpretation head sculpt. And I do really love this set. Whenever I'm doing these comparison reviews and picking these boys up again, these are really fun. This is still definitive now for me. This is now my all-time favorite. But yeah, the Super7 is no slouch. You can see on these Sais, I selected the battle damaged ones because I bought 2 of the Super7 Mouser sets and they come with 1 each. And I just really like that version for the same reason I like how battle damaged and scarred up these are. Here's another big boy. This is the Raphael from the Stranger Things 2-pack with Hopper. So I bought that on clearance. So it was about maybe $10 a figure, even less. I can't exactly remember how much I got it for. I never planned on collecting these, but when I saw it at such a deep discount, Hopper came with some really cool accessories. I thought I could use him as a civilian, some toy photography. So this is just a cool display piece for me. I do like the old style that they went for. Again, super easy to stand with these enormous feet. But he towers over the Mezco version. And last but not least, here is my Toon Raph. I love my Turtles in Disguise set. I am currently struggling with deciding whether or not to pursue the individual Ultimates because they did change some colorways on it slightly. And also the accessories are really rad on each of the boys. So I don't know if NECA's gonna get me again because otherwise it seems to be the same pins and single jointed situation on these turtles, but it's a great set. So if I do only keep this one, the Toons in Disguise, I'm happy with them. These are really rad. And yeah, they're the closest in height. So there you go. So really, like, these guys can fit in the Mezco with maybe not exactly the look, but at least the scaling of the cartoon figures. Speaking of the cartoons, I happen to have Space Usagi Yojimbo next to me, so why not show a little comparison there? I think that these Mezco figures, if I wanted to use them with the Toon stuff, I think they would work. And why not check out? There he is with Vern. So let me know in the comments, do you think the Toon line would work with these Mezcos, or are these guys just too gritty and realistic to work with them? Otherwise, for the time being, I could go with this version of April if I wanted to put an idea together for a photo. Then again, perhaps maybe I'll go with the movie version, but I actually haven't opened the movie version of April yet. Of course, as soon as I finish wrapping up my review, I realized that I didn't include the Last Ronin Raph. So there we go. I don't have the Fall of Raph pincushion, but you can see the difference there. Both awesome. I love that Last Ronin Raph. It's a great NECA. You can get a nice close look of how these guys will look together. And really, I think any of the Last Ronin other figures outside of the brothers would work really well with the Mezco set. So Karai and any of the foot soldiers, Sinja robots, etc. So to close things out, here's another little addition and seeing how well they work together. But there is Secret of the Ooze Kino. I ended up doing a little splitsies with J-Shot, so he took the foot soldier of that 2-pack because he already had it, and I really wanted this particular accessory. And you can see the movie figures work really well, but I just can't believe how well any iteration of these characters, of these versions, seem to go with these Mezcos. I feel like whether it's Toon, Mirage, or movie, I can mix and match and just have a blast. So yeah, this is another spectacular figure from this set. I just continue to be blown away. As you can see, Raph clearly cannot handle the weight of the ego of all the compliments this set has been getting since they came out. So thank you so much for checking out this video and checking out it. So thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope with all the other hype and people getting these sets in hands and all the different reviews out there that you still found something new to appreciate from these figures. So again, I appreciate your time. If you haven't checked out, I do have reviews up of Leonardo and Michelangelo, and I'll be wrapping up the set with Donatello soon. Thank you so much. And as always, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live to talk about life and toys. So I hope to see you in the chat one of these days. And in the meantime, have a great rest of yours. Peace.